Joining me now, Sirius XM Patriot host, Fox News contributor, Fox Nation host. Man, if you have any more titles, the show would go up. David Webb, Walser Wealth Management President, Rebecca Walser. Sorry, you only have one title. You got a lot of degrees there. Fox Business correspondent, Madison, Alworth. All right, I got to start with you, Rebecca. American exceptionalism, is it slipping away?
I mean, absolutely not. Of course not. But it's changing for sure. But as the whole world is changing. But, 2 months of a policy. I love how they gave Biden 18 months of transitory inflation. But 2 months in, they're blaming the entire world crisis on Trump. And let's be clear. Tariffs can be de-inflationary because people do stop buying. That's the whole point. It's more expensive. Less people buy at that cost. So it can be de-inflationary. And,
David, there's a lot of ways to measure exceptionalism. Yeah. One thing is that the world it's a free world, mostly because we spend $1 trillion on defense every year, and everyone knows that we're the sheriff will come galloping to the rescue.
Look, first of all, reports of our death have been greatly exaggerated. I got to borrow that one. I know it's a famous quote, but that's what they're trying to tell you, that America's dead. What happened is they're dead to America because they're not paying their fair share. They're not living up to what their side of that trillion that we, frankly, shouldn't be spending. They haven't adjusted their model. American exceptionalism, Charles, is our ability to recover, our ability to grow, our opportunity that we offer people, which is why they're trying to get here, which is why those who have the means are being invited in by Donald Trump to come here legally.
Just got a $5 million check, man. Just cut that check. And by the way,
but what does that mean for investment, for institutional investment? If they go that route, it's huge.
Madison?
You know how many people would, if that becomes a thing, how many people would write that check and want a first one-way ticket to the U.S. stream?
Especially out of China if they can get out.
Absolutely. So the idea that 1 or 2 days of a rocky stock market is the death of exceptionalism in America, it's just a joke. We see through it, and then we clearly see through it because today we have good inflation news, and the market is doing a lot better. So
let's talk about that inflation news, right? The CPI numbers that Madison's talking about came in less than expected, and I got to be honest, it bummed a lot of people out. I'm toggling through financial media. They were hoping, golly, they could blame the Trump tariffs, but they couldn't. One area that stood out for me was men's apparel, up big time. Now, there's a lot of theories about this, but I think Jamie Dimon might have hit it on the head. Check out Damon Dimon talking about returning to the office.
If you work in a restaurant, you got to be in. You all may not know this, but 60% of Americans work the whole time. Where did you get your Amazon packages from? Your beef, your meat, your vodka. Where did you get the diapers from? Where do you got UPS and FedEx and manufacturers and agriculture and hospitals and cities and schools and nurses and sanitation and firemen and military. They all worked. It's only these people in the middle who complain a lot about it.
I'm going to you first, Madison, not because he brought up vodka, okay? But he did make some solid points. So my thing is, some people are saying, well, in the CPI number, you saw a little bit of tariffs in apparel. But that men's suit thing is every month for the last several months. I think going back to work is having a positive impact.
I think it definitely is. I mean, you look in New York City alone, and all these restaurants that used to feed all the workers, they're thrilled to have more people coming back to the office because it means more business around office spaces. The apparel also sees that bump, and you are seeing it work. I know I have friends at Amazon. They also did the 5-day a week. Very upset at first, but now I talk to them, and they're like, one, I like work more because I have friends to talk to. I'm not just sitting at my computer. And, I mean, for me, any excuse to shop is always a good one.
What do you think, David?
First of all, think about it. People have either gained weight or lost weight during COVID and all this stuff.
Mostly gained. Come on now, my man.
But what does that mean? New clothes. It means you're going back to the office. You want to look good.
Exactly.
And the thing is, this is all a part of that virtuous cycle coming back. How are you going to get the employee experience sitting in your living room on Zoom in your boxer shorts? Jamie Dimon's right. Get your you-know-what back to work, get in the office, and enjoy being around people.
He was talking to a bunch of young folks, and I will say maybe we do have some issues here, and I'm not trying to start any trouble, but a couple of stories. Gen Z task masking, right? They're trying to look busy in the office. Also, a quarter of Americans experience burnout by 30. Rebecca, can you explain this?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I mean, I think that there has been a systemic, intentional push down for probably 3 decades at least to dumb down our society, to make us more apathetic, to make us more like,
But
whiny.
he burned out at 28.
Yeah, you know what? I got to disagree a little bit here, though, because I'll tell you why. It's anecdotal. They say this about the young people, but there are a lot of Gen Zers out there that are ambitious, that are getting out there. They're getting involved. They're investing, right? Charles, you've done a lot about young people getting into the market, finding a way to invest. Now there's AI. They do these polls, and I get it. But I think more and more millennials and Gen Zers, especially Gen Z, are getting in it because they want something for themselves.
Well, so I think both can be true, which is like the easiest position to take. But what I will say
Politician,
is,
huh?
right, yeah,
Someone
right.
said you got to get Madison on the panel. She takes a strong position.
Yeah, right. Okay, no, here's what I will say. I do think the burnout is real because so much has changed about work. Even if you're mailing it in, because you have your cell phone and your computer at home, my friends say they don't know when to turn it off. So it's this constant hustle.
Yeah.
It's just your boss is always accessible. But that is countered by things like task masking, just sitting around to look busy so that you don't get
That's called lazy in my generation.
I will tell you this. When I got in the military, Air Force, someone said, listen, make sure you always walk around with a clipboard. You got to look busy. So it's not new. It's just that you do it in a different way.
New name,
Charles, there was never a gladiator that went to work at home. So that's it. You can't slay dragons. You can't create. You cannot be exceptional.
I don't know if you're going to be this philosophical today. I got to write this down.
Part 2.
Let's talk about Doge for a moment, because for all the criticism Doge is getting, it's in reality, it's common sense. In fact, take a look at this with Ben Affleck and his son.
What size are you?
Like 8.
8.5. That's incredible. Ben's like, no.
That's a lot of lawns you got to mow there.
So Rebecca, I'm going to go to you because I know, like, a successful parent, your kids probably want $6,000 sneakers like Ben Affleck's. What do you tell them?
I mean, they're only asking for the half that, but I'll just say, good for him, because it's true. If your children, if there's not something in you that understands the value of a dollar and what it takes to earn it, then you will never respect it, and that breeds apathy. What I've been talking about, and so make them, even if you're wealthy, like Donald Trump's a great example. Make your kids be invested in themselves.
It's easier said than done, I think.
Of course,
it is easier said than done.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, if your dad's is Charles Payne and you have the baller watches and the best shoes in the biz, how are you going to tell your kids, no, you can't be fly like me?
Values is what matter.
Yeah.
Look at all these, quote, rich kids in America. Who are the good ones? Who are the bad ones? The ones that are raised with good values, where their parents teach them, whether it's a simple value or a value system, they have a better chance at success. The Trump kids are a great example. Look at Don Jr., Eric Lara, look at all of them.
Real quick, then, will this make me a bad dad or a good dad? If this article, tired of waiting in line, you can hire someone for that. If I hired someone to wait in line for me, would that send my kids the wrong signal or the right signal?
Right signal. Because time is money. You have made enough money to pay for someone to wait in line. And you could say,
and
you can be like me.
I can still say no to the $6,000 sneakers.
I would say wait in line, but what are you waiting in line for?
Well,
is it for like an incredible experience? $6,000 sneakers not worth it, but like to see a great show or to get an exclusive release, sure.
All right.
Let's not forget, Ben's point was, hey, I have the money, you're broke. You're broke, so my money isn't your money. So let's just get that straight.
David, Rebecca, Madison, I wish we had more time. That was fantastic. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks.